Hey, hi, hello there. Welcome back to recording number 3 of me trying to record this video. I have been asked, I'm an anthropologist who watches videos mainly from Amberlynn Reid, Jordan Underwood, and Rosie Jean, who, by the way, I think is adorable. I've watched 2 of her videos. I think she's amazing. I can't wait to watch more of them. My point being, both Rosie Jean and Jordan Underwood definitely are members of the Fat Acceptance Health at Every Size movement. I don't know how dedicated Rosie Jean is to it, but she did mention in, I think, her first video that she was still into fat acceptance. And people have asked me my opinion on fat liberation, health at every size, fat acceptance, whatever it wants to call itself today. And I have nothing positive, honestly, to say about it. So I've tried to make videos where I just kind of sit down and talk about it, and it never works out because I get so damn angry with like Amberlynn and just watching the other girls. I can like keep it. It doesn't really hit me so much. It doesn't hit me hard. I can stay separate from it for the most part. I can be an outside observer, a participant observer, if you will. But, you know, when they do or say something incredibly dumb, I can just be like, it is what it is. For whatever reason, when we get, well, I know why, but when we get into the certain arguments that fat liberation and health at every size, I'm just going to say fat acceptance, that fat acceptance makes, the lack of respect for people other than themselves, the appropriation of the traumas, the trials, and the tribulations of actual marginalized and traumatized groups, the just straight up appropriation of the actual struggles of people who have actual oppressions upon them is just so rage-inducing for me. And just the complete lack of self-reflection that they have for these arguments that they make just sets me off. And then there's the science denialism, which doesn't necessarily make me angry, but it does kind of like kill what little hope I have for humanity. So I need a buffer when I talk about these topics. I know some people are going to watch my video. If you watch this video, you're probably going to agree with me, and there's going to be a chunk of people that are not going to agree with me. And I realize that I'm probably going to say something relatively unpopular and or controversial at some point during this. So feel free to leave comments if you would like, but if you're not nice about it, I will not respond and probably will hide your comment. So I'm just letting you know ahead of time. I curate my comments. So that being said, I watch the Cyincal Dude. I like him. I think he's funny. I don't necessarily agree with everything he has to say, but I still think he's funny. And I felt like this would be a good buffer for me. I thought maybe a little bit of humor kind of pecked in here and there would actually be humorous for me. And maybe make me not go off on a rage-induced tantrum. So this particular video, put out 3 days ago as of this filming, is called Not Dating Fat People is Eugenics, a Fat Acceptance TikToks. So if you don't watch the Cyincal Dude, which, seeing as he's got a hell of a lot of viewers, most of you probably watch the Cyincal Dude. But if you don't, go give him a try. I think he's funny. And yeah, let's get into this.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back.
Hi.
Today, we're taking a look at a clip where a fat activist says that everyone should be a fat activist, even if you're not fat. We're also going to be taking a look at a bonus clip, as well as the 3rd edition of what I like to call the Fattest Fridays, where we take a look at various responses to this.
Tell me the story of the fattest thing you ever did.
I might clip that part out. It's funny. I'm not taking it out because I don't think it's funny. It's kind of irrelevant to what I want to talk about right now.
So I combined some random clips with the 3rd edition of the Fattest Friday. Did you know I have an Instagram? If you follow me there, your life will finally have meaning. Here's a link. Before we proceed, please click like and subscribe so that I may apply comb to mustache.
I watch way too many of these.
Everyone should be a fat liberationist.
But what if I'm not fat? As somebody who has liberated themselves from 60 pounds of excess weight, I would say that I am a fat liberationist.
The first time because I've already watched this once, the first time I watched this, I was like, yeah, that's, before he even said that, I was like, but what if I'm liberated from my fat? Does that make me a fat liberationist? That's the fun thing about words.
And I'm trying to help liberate others from their fat as well.
It's really quite simple. Everyone in a society that has the system of fat phobia within it, which is most westernized or colonized areas.
Okay, first off, y'all need to quit using words you just saw on the internet one day and thought they sounded cool. I'm an anthropologist, I am an archaeologist, which are probably two of the most problematic fields in academia today because we were basically founded on not being nice people to other people. Basically, we were trying way back in the day to prove that we were superior to people that didn't look like us, and to do so, we decided to study people who didn't look like us and prove to ourselves that the great white westernized world was the best of all worlds. So, when I say this, I am in full awareness of what my field came from. This person does not understand the concept of westernized, nor the use of the word colonized. And it really starts to irritate me when I hear people using these buzzwords. It even irritates me within my own field, hearing people use buzzwords that they don't really understand, but they sound cool, and it makes them feel good to say them, because most of the time you're just saying the word, and then you're not doing anything about it. You're not even acknowledging that there's something that could be done about it, or should be done about it. It just makes you feel good to say the word, and then everybody nods and politely claps, and, oh, yes, you're correct, yes, colonization, yeah, yes, And then it gets on TikTok, and then TikTok thinks it knows what it's saying. Words mean things. Maybe don't use them in ways that take the power out of the word, because then when you need that word to be powerful, it's not anymore, and no one takes you seriously.
Right, of course, go on.
Is going to be negatively impacted by fat phobia and anti-fat bias.
They are? What the heck? No. Hello, Punchy's back, baby!
Depending on how small or large you are, the fat phobia and anti-fatness will affect you in different ways and will have different material realities. But no matter your size, fat liberation benefits you.
This also goes back to this concept of the fat acceptance, the great monolith of fat acceptance has created a chart that has 4 different categories of fatness in it. And within that, it starts off with small fats, which I think are somewhere between 14 to 18, depending on the chart. And it goes all the way up to what's considered a death fat or an infinifat, which I would hope that description just explains to you exactly what that category is. It's people who are like basically dying because they're so fat. And this is something to be celebrated within fat acceptance, apparently. It's a death cult. And the thing that needs to be pointed out here is that I, myself, am medically obese. I am fully aware of this fact. No, my doctors have not beat that into me, and no, my doctors are not fat phobic. My doctors have mentioned at least exactly one time my weight to me, and that was because I was getting ready to go into surgery, and my weight was going to complicate a few things, or had the potential to complicate certain parts of my surgery. Fortunately, it did not. Everything went well. Thank you all for your well wishes. I really do appreciate it. That being said, I wear a 10 to 12. Okay? On a good day, I get to wear a 10. On a regular day, there's no bad day. On a regular day, I wear a 12. I have one pair of jeans that are a size 16. They're my fat jeans. They're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. And I have to wear a belt with them because they fall off of me if I don't. Side story. My point is I don't even hit the fatness scale because I'm too small. So what good is your fatness scale if it doesn't even include anyone from a size 14 down. You know, you are literally excluding an entire group of people. Where have I heard that argument before? Fat acceptance.
Imagine what it would be like if we were all liberated from the idea that our bodies have to be smaller.
Dude.
Or look a certain way in order for us to live our best lives.
And this is an argument that has been appropriated from the feminist movement of yore. The whole concept of what if we as women chose to not make ourselves look like the westernized standard of beauty. And that was an old argument. It's still, I mean, in my opinion, it's not a bad argument, but it's still an older argument that is being recycled here and having the word feminism or woman taken out of it and having the word fat put in it instead, which I could really sit here and deconstruct that whole thought process and just go off into the deep ends of like the weeds, but I'm not going to. And what it really boils down to, in my opinion, is that there's this need within the fat acceptance movement, because 90% of it are women, that women are inherently fat. And when they say inherently fat, they mean obese. So there's a lot of subtle arguments that are made, and they're really not that subtle when you really start to pay attention. It's in women being inherently obese and not having any control over said obesity is one of those arguments. And hearing even old feminist rhetoric being turned into fat acceptance rhetoric just makes me mad, because I just look back on my college years and I'm just like, WTF did I do back then? Well, what was even the point?
Imagine
Lives
To live our best lives.
if everybody could wear what they wanted to wear without having to worry whether
they kind of can. You can wear whatever you want.
or not they'll be able to find it in a store near them or not.
Okay, this is a non-argument. The argument is, what if you didn't have to worry about being able to wear whatever you want or going to a store and buying clothes? This is a fat acceptance argument that just, it doesn't even make me mad. It's just a stupid argument. And I don't know why they continue to cling to it, because all it does is continue to prove that, like, when's your wake-up call going to happen? When you can no longer shop at a brick and mortar store because they don't carry a size large enough for you in the store, and you can't shop on a regular online store because their sizes don't go up to the size that you wear. And now you have to go to a specialty store in order to buy clothes in the size that you fit in. Where's the disconnect occurring here? Why is this the argument? All of these stores, society itself is discriminating against me because I can't buy cute clothes in my size. Therefore, I am being oppressed. I'm oppressed. And it's not, maybe I shouldn't be eating 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day. Where does that disconnect occur? How is it society's fault that you refuse to curb your calorie intake, and it's not your fault for doing it? That is not oppression. And claiming that it is insulting to everyone who is actually oppressed and has to deal with actual oppression in their actual everyday lives. Most of that oppression is because of traits in that individual that they have no control over.
You are allowed to grow as large as you want. However, you might not be able to find garments that fit you. That's the price we pay when we stand out and be a trailblazer. You knew this was going to be a tough gig when you took it, but you decided to push forward anyway because you're a fat liberationist.
Imagine spending your time worrying about anything other than your body.
That's like saying I choose to not be insecure anymore. It's a great grouping of words. It sounds really nice to get.
I mean, you can choose to not be insecure anymore. It's a mental exercise, and I mean, I commend anyone who tries to do it. I think that's amazing that you can do that. I'm not going to knock people for doing that.
Together, but it's not that simple, is it? From now on, I'm going to be confident. I've decided that. Like I said previously, when I think of the term fat liberation, I think of liberating people from their fat, as in helping them lose weight. Next. All right, they're going to be responding to this comment that says, okay, I'm fat phobic because I'd like my partner to be healthy. Nice.
This is the one that's going to set me off, just FYI.
Clearly sarcasm, by the way, in case this person isn't getting it.
Just as a side note, I don't disagree that it's sarcasm. However, when you write things on the internet, tone and inflection is completely lost. It's hard to follow a conversation tonally, just from the written word. Emojis help, but they're not necessarily like that. And there's no emojis in here anyway. So, as someone who thinks they're the wittiest, funniest person on the internet, who's constantly sending sarcastic remarks to total strangers and then getting backlash for it, trust me, no one's going. There's a really large group of people that are not going to pick up on your sarcasm. So, putting that out there. I'm not saying this isn't sarcasm. I'm just saying, don't try to be witty if you don't have to be. It'll bite you. It will always come back and bite you in the ass.
I love this new wave of people just like straight up being honest that they are fat phobic.
Okay, so fat phobia is actually a term that is used in various ED disorders and other disorders that are associated with EDs, because there is an actual like medical definition of fat phobia, and it is the intense fear of fatness or becoming fat. And if we stick with that definition, then fat phobia has a purpose. Like, usually I see it associated with people who have an actual restrictive ED and not just claiming to have a restrictive ED. But it's not that they see a fat person and they're like, ah! It's more that they are afraid of themselves becoming any larger than they actually are, even if that's like a quarter of a pound. Like it can be so severe that like even gaining an ounce will trouble certain people. I don't want to make light of that. I feel like when we're throwing the word fat phobia around, as this person is doing, oh, you want to be healthy? Pff, that's so fat phobic of you. Well, that's so health phobic of you to not want to be healthy. Why do you want to be fat? So, it's taking an actual word with an actual definition and using it in a way it's not meant to be used. Again, in order to add validity to a movement that has none without borrowing from others, in my opinion.
They were being sarcastic. They said, okay, I'm fat phobic because I'd like my partner to be healthy. Nice. You didn't see the sarcasm in that. I'm not shocked.
Because
he's going to harp on the sarcasm thing, which I've already made my point.
And it's like, yeah, of course fat phobia does exist. And thank you.
Right. They want their partner to be healthy.
When the fat acceptance movement uses the word fat phobia, they're actually using it as a dog whistle for discrimination. And or the other thing they really like to associate with it is racism. And my problem with that is by assigning a trait inherently to a group of people based on traits that they have no control over, you are doing the thing you are accusing people of doing. So my point is, the use of the term fat phobia or calling people fat phobic is an attempt to shut down a conversation or to shut a person down when they're disagreeing with you or not taking your side in an argument. And it's also trying to enforce that they are themselves oppressed and discriminated against because fat phobia is the same as racism. Therefore, if you are fat phobic, you must also be racist. And nobody wants to be racist, so you shouldn't be fat phobic either. Even though these two things are not the same. They're not even remotely related to each other, and they should not be put together at all. Are there fat people who happen to be black or non-white people who happen to be fat? Yes. That is not an inherent trait of being not white. Do you understand the difference? If you are saying that it is racist to be fat phobic, you are sort of kind of implying that thinness is a white trait and fatness is a trait of everyone not white. You're not saying there are non-white people who are fat and there are white people who are fat. You are dividing the groups based on one trait. Do I have to draw the parallel out any further for you? If I do, I will, but I do feel like your school system has failed you.
So of course they're fat phobic. End sarcasm.
For just being honest that you are fat phobic. And of course, the other thing of interest here is health. First of all, there are some people who will never be able to attain a clean bill of health.
And this is a straw man argument because it has absolutely nothing to do with the initial argument of it's not fat phobic to want to be healthy, which is basically the argument that was made with that sarcastic comment. It is not fat phobic to want to be healthy or to want to have a healthy partner. It's just not. And now that argument has to switch for her from that, which is a perfectly logical argument that does not really have too much of a counter argument to it, to, oh, but there's some small percentage of the population that can never be healthy. You are correct. There is a small percentage of the population whose health is completely outside of their control. I'm not saying there isn't. And also, those people I would not clump into the fat acceptance movement whatsoever, because again, these things are traits that are inherent to the individual and outside of their control.
Look at the look on her face right now. Some people will never be able to obtain a clean bill of health. Okay, why are you so angry and aggressive? The comment that you're responding to is sarcastic.
And are they not worthy of being loved?
And that's the other end of that argument. Oh, well, by saying you don't want an unhealthy partner means that you think that all unhealthy people are unworthy, or all fat people are unhealthy. All fat people are unworthy of being loved and cared for. No one said those words except for you. You are trying to put words into other people's mouths so that you can argue against them with a really weird argument that no one said, and I would guess, 90% of the population, I'll give 10% of the population that they're just awful people, and really do think that, because percentage law of averages, that person exists somewhere. But the majority of people, no. They don't think that, okay? The majority of people aren't even thinking about other people to begin with. Fat, skinny, gorgeous, ugly. They're not thinking of other people. They're the only person in their story, and that's who they're thinking about.
And cared for.
Nobody said that you're unworthy of love or being cared for just because you're overweight or unhealthy. They said, so I'm fat phobic because I want my partner to be healthy? Nice. Their statement just went, wow, right over your head.
Also, you want your partner to be healthy. So no matter what, they have to be healthy.
No one said that either. Of course I want my partner to be healthy. I have a partner. I have friends. I want my friends and my partner to be healthy. I want my parents to be healthy. I want my pets to be healthy. Okay? I want the people and the living things in my life to be healthy, because that means they're going to be with me longer. I'm very attached to these things. I want them in my life as long as humanly possible. Ergo, I assume, with the exception of maybe my cats, because, they're cats, I assume the people in my life would also want me to be healthy, and considering I just went through a bit of a health kerfluffle, I have that reinforced. The people in my life do want me to be healthy, because they want me to stay in their lives as long as possible.
Whose definition of healthy? In addition to that,
Why are we picking apart
I
the
hate that argument. Webster's Dictionary's definition. I don't even know what it is off the top of my head, but I'm almost positive I agree with
Antics. The person was just pointing out how it's silly how you call everybody fat phobic for wanting to be healthy. You're kind of proving their point by going on this tirade about nonsense that has nothing to do with the price of tea in China. Oh yeah, by the way, I classed the joint up for you. You're welcome. It's been a while since I said that, huh?
This must be true. And here, 30 minutes in, is where I will lose my shit. Please bear with me. Eugenics is a real thing. Eugenics really happened to real people in living memory, which means there are people who are alive today who either have someone in their lives or who themselves had eugenics inflicted upon them. It is not a funny term. It's not cute. It's not quirky. It's not the new buzzword. It is horrifically disrespectful to throw the term eugenics around like this. And it just, I am having a very difficult time finding words that are both poignant and not just screamingly angry to discuss this with you. Eugenics was the practice of sterilizing and or removing permanently from society, do I need to be more descriptive, individuals who are deemed to be less desirable of humanity, of breeding within humanity than others. There's a particular group of individuals who are very fond of blonde-eyed, blue-eyed, or blonde-haired, blue-eyed people somewhere around the era of World War II who are kind of famous for this particular habit. But they are by far not the only group in history, including the United States, who performed these particularly egregious harms and atrocities upon mostly minority non-white women. And that was a lot, I understand. But to sit here and have this person telling me that not wanting to be fat is akin to eugenics is, I think, the second most infuriating, rage-inducing argument I have ever heard come out of the fat acceptance movement. And it is the number 2 reason why I hate this movement and everything it stands for. Okay? This is why you will never be able to argue me into supporting fat acceptance. Because of this argument and one other that I'm not going to go into. There are other arguments as well, but the top 2, I'm not going to go into the first one because we don't have time and I don't want my video to get taken off the internet. This argument is just the most blatant display of disrespect and ignorance that I've seen in a very, very long time. And the fact that fat acceptance just throws it around like it's some kind of gotcha statement really, really shows you how desperate fat acceptance is to have an actual argument for their case. Eugenics is 100% not even relatively close to not wanting to be fat. Okay? Okay.
Just say that you like eugenics.
What? Wanting a healthy partner equals eugenics to you. Okay. For those that don't know, eugenics is when you try to control human breeding so you can control the outcome of what humanity looks like, right? Like,
that's a very basic definition of the word, but it's pretty much what you're trying to do. You're trying to prevent certain genes, certain traits from getting into the human gene pool because you don't want to dirty up or muddy the genetic pool of humanity because you, whoever you are, have an idea of what the perfect person looks like, do I really need to be more descriptive? Anyway, and so you, this ambiguous you, go out of your way to eliminate individuals that you think are unworthy of being part of your gene pool. And elimination can be anything from sterilization, forcibly sterilizing people without their consent, sometimes without even their awareness. Yes, it still happens. To completely removing an individual or group of people entirely from the planet. Do I need to be more descriptive? Okay? That is not the same as me saying, I should probably eat 500 less calories a day because I don't want to be 200 pounds. Not even close. Not even close.
We're trying to create the perfect human. Only the most intelligent, only the tallest, only the strongest, and we will make them all breed and create babies. That's what eugenics is. She's saying all of that because some people want to be with somebody who's healthy.
Because the idea here is that you really need a partner to be like capable and healthy and like the survivor of the fittest. But it's like
no one said that. Anyway.
Yeah, I would like a partner who's going to live, during our tenure together.
Health comes and goes, and health is not forever. Same thing with beauty, right? Beauty is not forever. We age, we change, we look differently, etc.
Right, so it's eugenics to try to be with somebody who's in decent health, or that you're actually attracted to, or any of the other signs of health.
I'm not even going to start with that one. I'm sure he'll get to another video where we'll talk about this whole forced attraction thing that the fat acceptance has, like this concept of, well, have you tried being attracted to fat people? Have you tried that? I mean, it's not working for me that you're not attracted to fat people. I need you to change yourself because my ideals don't reflect your attraction preferences. Do I need to draw a further parallel?
Completely ignore all of your survival instincts and your instincts for breeding.
Okay, so, all right. After my whole rant there. This whole idea that, like, we are picking our mates and partners based off of an evolutionary drive is a erroneous argument that honestly I don't think there's enough evidence to truly support as a full-blown argument, mainly because even if there were some kind of biological drive that made us attracted to only fit and healthy people, which is clearly not true because that's not how, if you just look at society, just go outside and look at like 10 couples at the mall. They're going to be varying differences within their visible physical health. Clearly we are not driven to only date pretty thin, healthy people, okay? And the reason for that is because we as humans have a brain, and our brain is capable of overriding any unconscious biological drive that we have, okay? It's why we do dumb shit, okay? It's why we do the crap that we do. I was going to say something about Coke cans, but probably too soon. So there's that. The whole like, oh, people find healthy people attractive because biologically we're looking for a mate who's going to be able to breed with us healthily. It's also not true because some people like people with a little extra padding on them. And also some people don't like people with a little extra padding on them. You can be too thin and, somebody's really going to be into that. There are people who are truly into very large other people, and that's their thing, okay? There are people who are attracted to inanimate objects. That is not an evolutionary trait, okay? It's what I'm trying to say here. It's a bad argument that I hear thrown around, not only by people who are like on the health end of things, but also people who are in the fat acceptance movement. And both sides are using the argument incorrectly because it's non-argument. All right. And if you want to come at me and be like, well, I'm attracted to healthy people, ergo, this argument is correct. Okay, sample size of 1 is not a sample size. All right.
So I just don't understand the mindset of being like, I need my partner to be healthy.
You don't get it, huh? Oh, that's weird. You've never had to care for somebody then, I guess.
What happens if something happens? You're just gonna be like, you know what? Bye.
Also, non-argument.
No, but maybe you don't get with somebody who's got all these medical conditions that don't quite align with your lifestyle. If I like to go hiking every weekend and you're morbidly obese, this probably ain't gonna work out. All right, that was amazing. Not the stuff that she said, but my reaction to it.
Okay, he's gonna move on to like the Fattest Fridays thing. And again, if you haven't watched it, go check it out. It's the stories people tell are just, I love them, and I love the fact that people are honest about it because some of those stories I'm just like, same. All right, yeah. So if you've made it through all of my angry ranting, and you're not running away screaming from me, which is fine, or keyboard warrioring in the comments section. By the way, feel free. The algorithm doesn't care what you're typing down there. If you've made it this far, leave is there a polo shirt? If there's not a polo shirt, leave just a shirt down in the comments section because he classed the joint up for us. Come on. And the other thing, or a mustache. Is there just a mustache emoji? Okay, so your choices are a shirt or a mustache, or both. In the comments section down below. I understand that some of the things I said are probably like not what people want to hear, especially in today's day and age. Feel free to disagree. That's fine. I'm not going to stop that. Do so politely and in a non-offensive way, please. And yeah, go ahead and thumbs up and subscribe if you've made it this far because you're a champ and you clearly want to know when I'm going to have another video posted. So why would you want to risk the chance of missing that? And yeah, even if you thumbs down this video, which if you want to thumbs it down, feel free to. The algorithm, again, does not care. And yeah, I'm going to go calm down. And I will see you all hopefully in maybe something less aggravating in the future.